All right, looks like we're live. We're live. We're live. What's going on, Freedom Nation family? Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Drew Romeo with your February 12th update for the stimulus check. And yes, we are live, which means I can see your questions. I won't be spending too much time answering questions here today, though. My main goal is to give you exactly the updates that you guys need. And once this video is saved, you guys will be able to review this at your own pace. But bear with me. I do have 3 articles that I want to go ahead and hit. And I do have a clip, and especially with everything that's been going on this week has been pretty busy for Congress, both the House and the Senate. They have a lot of things that they have to go ahead and get passed. The Senate piece is done. Now that it's sitting on the House table, what will they do? We have $1,400 on the line. We have minimum wage on the line. We have child tax credit on the line. There's so much on the line. So here's what to expect as far as when you can receive those checks, and how soon will it take for the House to actually pass, and what other changes have they made onto the actual stimulus bill package. So we'll be talking all about that. But first and foremost, I have to mention, we can't pass up this. This is coming from Market Watch, and I saw this the other day, and I just thought it would be the best time to bring it up. Was talking about how Dave Ramsey mentioned that, this is his thoughts about the whole stimulus check and the whole stimulus package. He says that if $600 or $1,400 changes your life, you were pretty much screwed already. And as you guys can see by the thumbnail, I had that up there for a reason, because hearing that I know a lot of people probably felt this, and it sent shockwaves through everyone online. But I want to know from your thoughts, do you think he's wrong? Do you think that if anyone who's in need of $600 or $1,400 is in a screwed position? Obviously, it's a tough time, but I want to know your thoughts. Do you think $600 means that if you're waiting for it, that you are mismanaging your money, that you don't have the savings account to support yourself during times like this? I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts. But I do have a snippet from the interview that he did, so you guys can actually hear for yourself. Let me go ahead and get that up for you.
By moving it from 10 to 50 are high income earners. So again, this is all political rhetoric. It's not Dave, reality.
You come from an interesting perspective. You talk to Americans across the country every day on your radio program. Yeah. What do you believe is the right number or the right answer for the next stimulus check?
Well, I don't believe in a stimulus check, because if $600 or $1,400 changes your life, you were pretty much screwed already. You got other issues going on. You have a career problem, you have a debt problem, you have a relationship problem, you have a mental health problem. Something else is going on if $600 changes your life. And that's not talking down to folks. I've been bankrupt. I've been broken. I work with people every day who are hurting. I love people. I want people to be lifted up. But this is, again, it is just political rhetoric, and it's just throwing dollars out there. It's peeing on a forest fire. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So what do you guys think about that? He said exactly what he said, right? Pretty much you're screwed already. It's peeing on a forest fire. To think that it's more of a political move on the Democratic side to be able to push for this, or the progressive side, I should say, to push for something like a stimulus check. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are below. But again, let's go ahead straight to the articles and give you guys exact updates that we have going on right now. The next one that I want to bring up is here. We're talking about the third stimulus check that we all been waiting for, $1,400. As you guys know, it's there were some parts of the actual bill that has been passed. So you can see here. I'm going to zoom in so we can all see this together. All right. Let's see that. All right, perfect. It says, Washington, Democrats pushed half of President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion relief plan through the House committee on Thursday, advancing $1,400 stimulus payments for millions of Americans. And the initiatives that Republicans have said, obviously we know, they say it's too costly economically and it's damaging, and they truly believe that it's been a partisan type move. In some ways I can see what they're saying, but if the Democrats didn't do what they did, there would be no movement up until this point. We got to the point where we're now past the Senate stage, we're in the House stage, so we would still be on the Senate stage if we were waiting for a truly, fully bipartisan move without having to do reconciliation. So reconciliation happened, now here we are with some choices that need to be made. It says the Means and Ways Committee approved $940 billion chunks of Biden's proposal on a 25-18 vote that was done, and that was a party line vote, highlighting the frenzy that took place, that seeing a dozen House panels that fashioned contributions to a sprawling measure. So, and here's another cool thing that we find here too. They also mentioned about the boost in the federal minimum wage, and a question was asked to Nancy Pelosi about, was it added, and is it something that you guys are proud of? And she says yes. it will be added, and we're proud of that. And this is from Nancy Pelosi when she was asked about, will the minimum wage increase be included in that? And so many people who are, working on minimum wage currently, they're the ones that are feeling this the most, right? And so if we can help the Americans who are literally starting out at the bottom of the totem pole, right, who are currently getting paid $7.25 wherever you are in the United States, that idea, and remember we mentioned before with Steve Forbes, he mentioned that if you raise it too quickly, or if this comes in during the pandemic, it could truly destroy an economy or shut down certain businesses while helping others, right? And I mentioned robbing Peter to pay Paul in my last video. But with this being said, the $7.25 to $15 an hour, they're planning to move that over the next 5 years. Now with this phase out, they would not introduce this to smaller businesses who wouldn't be able to handle this. And you'll see this lower in the article if you choose to read this, where smaller business owners wouldn't be forced to do this, but larger ones who can handle that type of influx will be, at least for right now. And this is what they're talking about, right? I think there were some other notes here that I wanted to bring up to your attention. Couple of points that they wanted to bring into the bill and they wanted to bring to your attention as well is that part of it is they're trying to boost the vaccination efforts, right? They want to make sure that the vaccination efforts are brought forefront because this is the cause of everything, right? The whole pandemic, so they want people to be vaccinated. Also raising tax credits for children, and that was another thing that was added into the bill. For those of you guys who don't know, the tax credit for getting $3,000, again, that's going to be paid out over 12 months, not just a one lump sum. And of course, I believe it's if you have a child that's under the age of 6, it's going to be $3,500 or $3,600. And if you have children between 6 to 17, it'll be $3,000, but broken up into, within a year, 12 months of payments. And so please be sure that if you do qualify for any of this, that you guys are aware that this is being talked about. This is going to help a lot of people who need this, right? And also increase of unemployment benefits and also federal health care assistance as well. So unemployment is another big issue as well. We had skyrocketing numbers for unemployment, applications that went in. And so now with people on the limbo where March 14th, which is the middle of March, where the unemployment benefits are due to end, right, with the current act that we have in place, we need that in order for it to actually be beneficial for folks to be pushed all the way out to September. They're trying to bump it up instead of $300 to $400 all the way through September. So will it happen? We're not sure, but here's the goal for this entire thing, right? For this bill, the stimulus checks, the updates, all the goods that you guys want out of the stimulus package. Here's what you want to know. The House bill would provide hundreds of billions of dollars in state and local governments and boost vaccination efforts, raise tax credits as we talked about for children, and also increase in unemployment benefits and federal health care as well. Democratic leaders hope for House passage later this month with Senate approval and a bill on Biden's desk by mid-March. So because changes are being made on the House side, it has to go back for Senate approval. Once it does, it's going to land on Biden's desk. And once that happens, then he'll be able to sign. And then, of course, the funds will be able to be allocated where it needs to be. What that essentially means that the IRS can then send out for those who qualify, the $1,400 and any other benefits that you qualify based on the age of your children, your current economic status, and if anything changes, right? I do have another article that I want to touch on really quickly. Again, I want this to be a fairly quick update. There's no editing, so everything's live, right? So you're watching me do this live. And they were talking about here, the rest of the article just talks about how the Republicans tried to really pretty much change the requirements and the eligibility for those who would get the stimulus check from $75,000 to $50,000. And so what pretty much being that Democrats did toy with the idea of actually entertaining the $50,000 mark being the cutoff before they start phasing off. But Democrats stood firm and said that right now, currently, as the bill stands, $75,000 or less, that is the current cutoff mark. So it looks like it's not going to be virtually unchanged from the previous eligibility for those who got approved for the last stimulus check. Okay. Here's the other article I mentioned here. Let's see if I can find that one part where Nancy Pelosi, she obviously mentioned a few more things about the bill and what they were going around. I think the main point here is, this is it right here. So it says that the first of the two checks phased out for Americans making over $75,000, but Democrats toyed with the idea, like we said, lowering the threshold to $50K. But Republicans have said that the money would be focused on people with the greatest needs in order to help them put food on the table. But again, this is why I mentioned people who are making $75,000. It doesn't mean that they don't have any needs that need to be met, right? People who are making, even 80,000, even 100,000, some of them, after taxes, whatever they bring home, and depending on whatever their, financial responsibilities are, they are struggling too. Right, so by keeping it at $75,000 a year, and couples who combined make 150, that makes more sense. You'll be able to help more people. But on the Republicans, way or view at it is that people who are making 50 and under are the ones who need it the most, and combined making 100K in a year, those families need it. But then what happens to the people who are making above 50K? You start phasing out, and the numbers start dropping all the way up into 75 or even 100K as an individual. And then there you go. You have people now who are falling between the cracks, who are not getting the help they need, and again, at risk of falling under the poverty line, right? And so this is why I like to bring these up and read it straight from the article so you guys can see them yourself. Let's go ahead and continue here. See what else we got here. So here's what we care about, and then we're going to wrap up this video. It says, when are we likely to see another stimulus check? So the stimulus payments, again, like I said in my last video, it says under the timeline in which we currently are, it says you could receive your stimulus check as soon as late March. So we said we have the deadline of March 14th, and I'm going to go ahead and unshare this now so we can see my face, beautiful face, right? March 14th is going to be the deadline, absolute deadline for the unemployment benefits. Everyone in Congress are on the same page as far as making sure they have a decision by that date, right? Of course, nothing is set in stone. We don't know exactly what to expect in real time, but this is what the energy in which they're moving in. This is the pace they're moving in, is to get it on Biden's desk before the unemployment deadline, March 14th. Once that happens, he's able to sign off and go ahead and push this out and turn it into law, so that way we can go ahead and get the funds distributed out to the Americans who need it most. And like I said, the funds amount has not changed. What they're debating right now is who is qualified and who needs it most. They're debating between $75,000 and $50,000. Just to give you a recap, $75,000 is where it stands right now. There's been no changes as to my knowledge. If there are, I will give you guys another update. And again, March 14th was the deadline date, so they're going to have everything signed before then, before the unemployment ends, because if that happens, like I said in my last video, I mean, there's gasoline everywhere, and if you make the wrong move, the slightest spark can blow this whole thing to high water. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. I'm really optimistic that this will be solved before March 14th, preferably by the end of this month is when we're looking for everything to be kind of like sent over to the Senate to be reapproved. And once that happens, we'll be able to have real answers for you guys. So we'll be about a week and a half of straight limbo land. We're not sure exactly what to expect, but you guys will hear it here first. Freedom Nation, you guys know how we do. I don't only do stimulus updates. If you guys look back in a few videos, I do have videos that help you actually learn how to make money online as well. And there's so many different ways to do so. You can use Churro. You can go ahead and sell things on eBay. We'll have so many different interviews with people that I have lined up that I want to start showing you guys as well, to help you in the midst of this, where if you're dependent on your job, that's dissimilar to having all your eggs in one basket, which is not the best place to be. And especially 2020 taught us that the most, right? So it's not about get rich quick. It's finding something that you can find stability, even if it's extra income you can add to supplement to what you currently have as your job. This is the goal here, which is why I came up with the name Freedom Nation and why it matters most to me. This article here is going to be linked down below, guys. All the articles I mentioned will be linked down below, but this one in particular, coming from Yahoo Finance, also gives you ideas on how to dial down your debt as well, downsizing your bills, cutting off subscriptions you don't need to help you kind of maintain while we're waiting for decisions to be made, right? And don't wait on the government. Please don't. All right. There's so many ways to make money online, and I'm hoping that you'll choose this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do join the family. I'd love to have you. And guys, if you haven't caught this live with me, which is where I am right now, please catch this on the replay and let me know that you watched it by commenting down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love.